Well, hey, everybody. I'm so glad to be back with you this week and introduce you to another author friend of mine, Christina Sinisi. Hi, Christina.
Hi, Dina. Thank you so much for having me.
Did I pronounce your name correctly?
You did, and I realized as you were saying it, was like I should have coached her beforehand.
But I said it okay.
Yes,
All
absolutely.
right. So some people may think you look familiar on my blog because I did feature you back in, I think it was December timeframe
Mhm.
when you had a Christmas novella coming out, but that was a written interview. So I'm excited to have a Zoom interview with you this time. And so we can actually talk face to face and hear you and see you. So thanks for doing that. And we're just going to jump into this interview and let you tell us a little bit about yourself and your family.
Thank you so much. So I'm Christina Sinisi, and I am married for it'll be 35 years in August.
Yeah.
Two grown children, Scott and Lindsay, and a cat, Chessie May, even though we all argue about her name because she came with the name Chessie May, and I wanted to stay with that and not confuse the poor cat. But my husband wanted to name her the General, and my son wanted to name her after the cat in Harry Potter, Mrs. Norris, but I call her Chessie. So,
Okay. So the cat's confused. She has multiple names.
yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your writing and your writing space. What does that look like for you?
This is my
Is it
writing space
okay?
now. Back in December, when I had the written interview, I said I wrote at the kitchen table, and I did. But then this year, we've been doing a flurry of, like everybody else in the country, I think, the last year and a half, really, remodeling.
Mhm.
And this used to be a piano back here where my daughter would do her piano practice. And it was just, a beige color and just sort of blah. And she's grown and now on her own in her own apartment, and we don't need the piano. So we gave it away. And this is all remodeled, and I have all my books
Yeah.
in place and my desk, and I have a picture window I'm looking out. So
Yeah. So
I'm really happy.
nice. I know you
Yeah.
are. That's exciting for you.
Yes.
So how many hours a day do you spend there in that writing space working on your books?
Um, I honestly can't say. I'm not right now as disciplined of a writer as I could be, because I've been working on marketing. And so I haven't been putting a lot of time into writing. I've been doing, so I'm here, but I haven't been writing very
Mhm.
much, maybe a page or two a day. Um, but, and I'm also, when I do write, I'm fast. So it doesn't take me, sorry, anybody, probably half an hour writing a day right now, and then marketing. And then that's the bad thing about being at home. I'll write, I'll go clean,
Mhm.
I'll go do something else. So
Right.
when I'm when I'm not focusing on marketing, I just will try to make it more like a daytime job where I'll be here from maybe 9 to 5. But even then, I'm just one of those people who works best by doing a little bit at a time and taking breaks and coming back. And
Mhm. Now you say you write quickly. How long does it take you on average to write a novel?
I'm writing 2 a year right now. And I know there are people who write more quickly than that, but I'm also a full-time professor.
Okay.
During the school year, I don't have a whole lot of time to write either. So right now is my off time. So I should be pouring out the pages, and hopefully in a few days, once the launch happens, and then I will
Right.
get back to that.
Because your launch July 6th, correct? You're launching your new
Tomorrow,
book.
for
Yeah.
me,
So
tomorrow,
when
yeah.
this interview airs, the book will have been out for a couple of weeks
Mhm.
already. But for us today recording, it's
Yes,
tomorrow. So
yes,
very exciting week for
yes,
you. And
yeah.
so how many published works do you have?
I have two Christmas novellas. Now that's just to throw this out there. That's in my fiction world. As a professor, I've presented at conferences and published articles and so on, that I've just made the switch to being able to finally work on my fiction these last few years.
Okay. Fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that writing fiction is more fun,
Oh,
but
it is definitely more fun.
okay.
Now, and then I realized I sort of misspoke because I have been writing fiction my whole life, but I've just been able to publish this last year, 2 years. 2019 was the first one.
Yeah. So how many unpublished manuscripts do you have?
I honestly don't. Fully completed, probably 8. I'm
Wow.
writing fantasy, sci-fi, and that just didn't go anywhere. And then I switched to the inspirational, and that's had a lot more success and more, I feel a lot more comfortable with it.
Mhm.
And I've got actually one that's already been sold to the same publisher. And then I have another that I'm shopping for agents right now. And I've got another one that's halfway done. So that's just these last few years.
Mhm. So how did you make the switch from fantasy to writing inspirational? What happened there?
Actually, my mentor just asked me, we were doing a critique session together, and she's like, why are you not writing inspirational Christian romance? That's much more you as a person. And I still enjoy fantasy, but I haven't read any for years now because I've just been so focused on the Christian market.
Mhm.
And she just pointed it out to me. So that was, somebody just needed to sort of nudge me a little. And I was like, oh yeah, that's really what I fit.
Yeah, that's a valuable critique partner right there.
Yes. Yes.
So as a child, what did you want to be? Did you want to be a writer?
I've always had the dual goals. I don't actually remember this, but a friend tells me that maybe like in first grade, I told her that I'm going to be a doctor and nobody can stop me, which is very strange given that both my parents had barely finished their high school. They had finished high school. My father went the traditional route. My mother had me at 17. So she got her degree through correspondence course and so on. So for me to make that jump when it wasn't around me, it wasn't something that was done. So that's one side of me. But as soon as I could start writing in third grade, I started writing poetry and short stories and so on. So I've always wanted to do both.
Hmm. And you have, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So you said you're a professor
Uh-huh. Of
in
psychology.
psychology. So
Mhm.
when you're in a school year, how do you find the balance that you need to be, all in for your students and that job, but also you have a job writing and marketing and all of those things? How do you balance all that?
That's just, you just schedule your time. And then at night, again, I also, the other thing is I've given myself permission a long time ago not to pressure myself the way I've seen some writers say you have to do 10 pages a day or you have to write every day. And sometimes that's just not possible.
Hmm.
Not just those of us with, the full-time jobs, but those of us with lives. I mean, sometimes you have things going on in your life that just don't allow you to put in the pages that day. And
Hmm.
it's okay.
Yeah,
And
that's a
then
good
when,
word.
yeah. And then when you do have time, you can either make it up or just write what you can. And over time, it'll happen.
Hmm. So do you have a favorite fiction author or favorite fiction book that you love?
I am never one to be able to say a single book. I love so many. Um, I can, right now, one of my favorite authors is Rachel Hawk. I actually don't know how she pronounces it, Hawk. I love her work. I have loved Karen Kingsbury,
Mhm.
C.S. Lewis, and Grace Livingston Hill, which is much older author. I love her work.
Mhm.
So there's just a lot of different people whose work I enjoy.
Yeah. So, what about your favorite part of the writing process? Now that I've been into this for a couple of years, I had no idea jumping into it. I thought, oh, I'm just going to write a book.
Mhm.
But I had no idea what was involved with all the editing and the revisions and the marketing stuff. So, what's your favorite part of being an author?
The actual writing, I enjoy the first draft. I know a lot of people hate that because it's got this blank page staring at you, but I just love, being able to pour it out on the page. When
Mhm.
you have those good days when it comes out like that, it's just amazing.
Now, are you a planner? Do you plan out your novels or do you go by the seat of your pants?
I'm a combination, hybrid. I have poster storyboards, and then I plot out the whole thing, and then I write, and I may not even look at the board for part of the time. So it often veers far away, but that got me started and has the base. And if I get stuck at all, like the one I'm working on right now, I had put aside a couple years ago to start something that somebody requested, and getting back into it, I needed to go back to the storyboard.
Mhm.
So I have that combination.
Yeah, I'm kind of a combo too. I try to outline and plot, and it helps me a little bit. But once I start, I'm just
Mhm.
like, well, that didn't go. I didn't do
Yeah,
what I planned.
right.
So let's talk a little bit about your new release that's
Mhm.
coming out, Sweet Summer. Tell us the overarching theme of that book.
The overarching theme is really addressing perfectionism. Um, Actually, no, that's the one that I'm working on right now. Sweet Summer is really about forgiveness. That's that one. It's the second story in the Summer Creek series, which Christmas Confusion was the first. And this is the youngest daughter, Shelby's story. All three girls, the sisters, their father had been killed. He was a security guard at a local community college, stumbles on a robbery of somebody trying to jack a car and gets shot and dies. And they were little girls. And Shelby has dealt with that by pulling away from people and taking risks. She loves doing risky, fun things like parasailing and caving, spelunking, and so on. And it's her way of dealing with grief. And there's a lot of built up anger that she needs to forgive herself and learn how to deal with the real grief. And it's just, this is a decade later or more at this point. It's also trust, because she needs to trust in God that, you know, bad things are not going to always happen to the people you love, and you will be able to cope to some degree with bad things happening.
Mhm. So
So
what's the main takeaway you want readers to get from the book?
um, I had said forgiveness, but also trust, trusting in God that no matter what happens, sometimes horrible things happen. I mean, the hero's mother has Alzheimer's, so everybody is going to deal with loss. Everybody is going to deal with bad things, and just trusting that God will help you cope, and that you can trust in other people to also help you and be there for you.
That's a good takeaway. Sounds good. I'm definitely interested.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about some of the other characters in the book. You mentioned a little bit about the sisters and their background. What about some other main characters?
So the sisters' names that were in the first book, Tiffany was the heroine of the first book. Emma was actually sort of the villain, almost. Not that there was a villain, but she really messed up in the first book. And then Shelby is the youngest, who just really wasn't part of the family because she pulled away. Then the hero is in this book is Tyler, and he is like a nerd in that he's working at a history museum when she meets him. He lives at home with his parents. Now, the underlying story is that he did that to help take care of his mother, who has Alzheimer's, and they didn't want to place her in a nursing home. And you can only ask so much of in-home caregivers. So he's really sacrificed for his family. And then there's, if anybody's ever read the first one, I really love the niece, Emma's daughter, Haley. She and Shelby in this book have a really funny relationship. They act really silly together, and Shelby is, sassy, and just that part is really fun, writing the interaction with the child.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So which character was the easiest for you to write?
Easiest to write, probably Shelby, because she's a female, and I do have to work a little bit to address the male side of the point of view when I write from Tyler's side. So Shelby's the easiest, and Haley's the most fun.
Mm-hmm. So which of your characters gave you the most challenge?
Um, The easy answer would be Tyler, but actually the most challenge is writing about his mother
Hmm.
with the Alzheimer's and this
Oh. Now,
dealing.
did you have to do a lot of research for that?
No, my mother-in-law had Alzheimer's.
Mm. So
And
firsthand experience.
yes, yeah.
That's got to be tough. Mm.
Mhm.
Sorry you had to
More
go
so
through that.
from more so for my husband and his siblings than for us that were in-laws, but still it was very tough to see this woman who had been the sweetest person just undergo complete personality change and so many things.
Yeah. Gosh, that's such a horrible disease.
It is so horrible.
So I'm assuming writing about that in your book was difficult.
Difficult, but also cathartic in that it helps you deal with and helps you write about the good side and the bad side
Mhm.
to help you deal.
Yeah. Does your husband read your books?
No. He is a history professor and he doesn't read fiction.
Okay.
He reads nonfiction all the time. And he owes me actually, because I read his last book and it was tough. It's a history of a battle in the Civil War, and it was huge.
Oh goodness. Now,
He owes me.
does he have published works as well?
Yes, he has three history
Okay.
books. One is an edited compilation, but 3 books.
But I'm assuming you talked to him about what you're writing, and he knew you were writing about a character with Alzheimer's, and
I don't know.
not sure.
I don't talk to him much about what I'm writing. There have been a couple short stories that I've written this year that I've actually sent to him to proofread because it's
Okay.
short. Um, but otherwise, I don't. Maybe other people do talk to their spouses about their plots and so on. But since he's not a fiction person,
Yeah, he wouldn't give you very good feedback.
I really don't.
Well, tell us a little bit about what's coming next from you.
What's coming next is the third book in the Summer Creek series to come out next year. It's Why They Call It Falling. It's Emma's story. And I really was challenged by writing that because I needed to take this person who nobody likes in the first book and show her side of things and make her somebody that people care about. So that was
Yeah.
a
So
big challenge.
what's the main premise of that book? Now I'm interested.
That one, sort of a spoiler, but
No.
it's a tiny spoiler. Emma doesn't recognize it, but she has clinical depression. And so it's even people with serious illnesses need to obviously they especially perhaps need to reach out and accept help and accept grace.
Yeah. So it sounds like you write about real and gritty issues that people are facing. And what do you offer hope through your stories in some way when you're talking about
Oh,
these very difficult topics?
I think so. I hope so.
Hmm.
Um, because that's who I am. I love, in fact, I almost demand a happy ending. If it doesn't have a happy ending, I don't want to read it. Because to me, that's one of the things we're looking for in books. Because in real life, we can't control that. In books, we're to be uplifted and to be helped. There's always, I hope, humor and people finding finding a way through the Lord to deal with these real things.
Hmm. Amen to that. I don't know
Mhm.
how people cope and get through all of the hard things in life without Christ and hope in Him.
I don't either. I really don't.
Yeah. So, how can readers and fans support you?
Well, the obvious is to buy the books.
Yes.
I would love if people go to my website and join in the blog and comment and newsletter. I love getting to know people a little bit. I mean, that's really how, you and I, as much as we've gotten
Mhm.
to each other through your blog and my being, and I think that's part of the whole journey is that we can actually not just read books, but support each other.
Right. It's building a community together and really engaging and getting to know people. I think it's fantastic that readers can connect with authors that they love and
Yes.
have interaction. I mean, I've been an avid reader my whole life, and I would
Mhm.
never have thought about having an actual relationship with the author of the books that I love.
Yes. It seems
So
like so
that's,
distant. Yeah.
yeah, but it makes it so much more personal. And when you're reading their books, like a lot of times I'm reading books now by authors I've met or talked
Mhm.
to, and I'm hearing their voice, in the character and, picturing them as I'm reading, and it really enriches the experience for me.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's pretty cool. Well, any last words before we wrap up?
Um, thank everybody. Thank you. And thank anyone who watches. I really appreciate it. And I'd love to hear from people.
Right. And you're going to give away a copy of Sweet
Yes.
Summer.
Yes.
So we're asking people to comment on this post, and everyone who comments will get their name in that drawing, and that'll be exciting for somebody.
I hope so.
Well, thanks so much for spending some time with me today and sharing about your book and your writing. It's been fun getting to actually see you and kind of
Yes.
talk in person.
Yes.
All right. Well, I pray that God will bless you as you continue your writing and your publishing journey.
Thank you so much. You have
All
a
right.
wonderful day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.